All right, everybody, welcome back to our Training Day podcast. I'm excited and ecstatic. I got Rebecca Scofield and Leslie Scofield of FFL TMS, and this is our Tristate Medicare team. We're excited. They've had a very good 2023, and we're looking forward to 2024 as we close out the year. They're in New Jersey, business planning, and we're going over some of their audacious goals. And I'm excited to have them in. What's up, Bex? What's up, Les? How we doing?
Amazing.
Hello, Mark. Thanks for having us here today.
So glad to be here. It's always my favorite trip.
Love to have you in. So we spent some good amount of time yesterday kind of going through.
Getting our butt kicked.
We're going through 2023, right? And like getting a handle on, the year that we had. And it was a pretty cool year. It was an interesting year. We were creating a lot of processes, right? And trying to figure out how to take that to the next level in 2024. But I'm not going to do all the talking. I want you guys to talk about the year you had from a sales perspective. I mean, Medicare it's really amazing if you're not keen to it, learning what it is, what it does, how it helps people. I mean, helping a lot of families out there. You guys just came off AEP, which is the Super Bowl of Medicare, and how people are just fired up to see the new plans and get the new plans, and you guys are meeting with people nonstop. So your perspective is hot. Fresh take. Talk to me. I want to know what you guys, how you played it out in your mind, Les.
I'm excited for the year coming up. I think this year was a lot of trial and just, getting in the trenches and showing you what we have, the ability of Medicare, I guess, what it could do. And then once we brought it to you and you could see what it could do, it was almost like, Mom. You know what I mean? Yeah. Medicare's great. We run AEP like a Super Bowl, like you said, and then right after that we have OEP.
Right.
So really there's no breaks. If you don't want there to be breaks, there doesn't have to be.
Right.
And a lot of agents in the Medicare space currently, they're too relaxed. This is what I'm seeing in our space. I would love to have the tri-state influence in the Medicare space, and that's really what my goal is to say, how can I implement this culture and this personality into Medicare and have the retired agents, get pumped up about working more and writing more business.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's funny. Integrity is probably 70% Medicare.
Huge.
I mean, the Medicare companies are gargantuan. So it's never what could it do. We know what it can do. I mean, it's right in front of us, right? It's having a perspective of that on the life side and having people as versed as y'all in it that run it every day, that wanted to bring it over here and understand what we could do together to scale. So, yeah, I think 2023, some trial and error, but I think we learned a lot, right? We learned a lot.
A lot.
And Rebecca, you kind of came on the scene, and, really imprinted, crazy work ethic, working with a lot of clients. You're very passionate about the plans, the programs, the clients, helping the agents. Talk to us a little bit about your perspective and kind of what you saw.
Yeah, I definitely had a change this year and change up my work ethic. I was in the hospitality industry for 30 years, and coming from that to here was a perfect fit for me. The change was trying to figure out time management and work ethic on my own rather than, being required to be somewhere and clocking in, clocking out, and really making myself accountable for that. Getting up early, getting there, and just, clocking in and stay until the end. And that's kind of what I did.
How long have you been involved in Medicare?
I started September, writing business September of 2021.
Okay.
So I'm, completed 2 years. This is my third AEP. AEP is the annual enrollment period. It runs October 15th through December 7th. For those that don't know, that was what Leslie was talking about is our Super Bowl. We work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and nonstop. And sometimes more than that. Sometimes we're running the midnight oil, as Leslie likes to call it. So and then the rest of the year, kind of doing the same thing. But yeah, I think that was the big key difference for me, was really going, you know what, I'm going to do it this year and really show up this year. And that's what I did.
Would you say that this was your most ramped up year?
This was my most ramped up year. I had a really good first year.
Okay.
But I wanted to see how I could make it better. And that was putting in the time and the work the rest of the year to prepare for that moment.
It's funny, you say 3 AEPs because you came in September of 2021,
Correct.
but it's really been 2 years.
Correct.
Right. So when we say your first year, you're really saying September to September, yes?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So your second year is you're just like 2 years and a quarter in almost.
Right.
3 AEPs though.
Right.
Got it. So let's talk about AEP. Your third AEP, did that feel a lot different than years 1 and 2?
Yes, because I became telephonic.
Okay.
I did. My rule is now anybody new, I'm going to go telephonic moving forward, and I try to take my existing clients and go telephonic as well. But if it's somebody that's much older and isn't tech savvy or really doesn't understand things, then I will see my current clients in person.
Okay.
But I'm really trying to shift from that. I can reach more families and help more people. I seem to get the tough cases.
Huh.
It always fall in my lap, and it's really been helpful to me and be able to help other agents to, know how to manage that. You have a lot of factors that go into it with, just one person, and everybody's different, and their issues are a lot different. So,
No doubt.
yeah.
And Leslie, this is your aunt, right? You
Yeah.
recruited your aunt.
This is my daddy's little sister.
Yeah.
You recruited your aunt into the business. Now, you're
Well, I planted the seed a long time ago.
correct.
And I was like, hey, so we have an office in your backyard. You should come check it out, you know?
I was like,
And it wasn't
hell
until
no.
COVID. Nope, not doing it.
I'm like, if you ever gonna
I remember
do
the name
Medicare-
Rebecca being thrown
Yeah.
around years ago.
Yeah.
My
And then-
aunt Rebecca, who
yeah.
lives in Clifton, I think it
Yeah,
was, or
Clifton.
something
Yeah,
like
but I was
that.
living in Clifton.
I was like, come on, it's right there. It doesn't make sense. What do you mean? And so then COVID happened.
Yeah, I had a cakewalk.
And
job.
COVID, she was like, hey, where's that New Jersey office? You know what I mean? Because there was like, people were panicked.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So your pedigree is, you've obviously had an amazing life career. You changed your life career somewhere along the road into a Medicare, more front-facing agency about 4 or 5 years ago. Is
Yeah.
that? And you've obviously can, recite and moonwalk, what Medicare can do for families. But again, stickiness and your ability to recruit agents, get agents, see agents selling, was this the first year that you got a chance to experience that fruit?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
What was that like?
Oh, man. It was really awesome. Well, the first year that she was here, it was awesome because it was really just me and Becky.
Right.
Like I've always had agents follow me sort of in different things that I've done. You have like the people that just want to be with Leslie, right? They just want to be with Mark. But it's like they're not really interested in going the next level. I knew that I had an obligation here.
Right.
And so it started out first, even though I had agents, she was like the goal was if I could get a story out of this,
Right.
I can get another story.
Right. That's
Okay. So that was year 1 for her, year 3 for me. And then this year I got to do that 5 times.
good. Got it.
So we had
Isn't
like
that funny how
5,
that works?
dude. And so like, but they're still like, you got to know, like we get paid funny. So like, just wait a few more weeks, like because that's when it's really going to be. If you ask me that question again in a couple weeks,
Right, because AEP gets paid out in the
it
beginning
gets
of the
paid
year.
weird differently,
Yeah.
right? And so it'll be the largest payout I've ever had. And some of the conversation we had yesterday was like implementing some of that back into the business model
Right.
and making sure that now it's like, can I get 20 next year? Can I get 50?
Sure. Yeah, now I think that's, where I get excited. It's like,
Yeah.
seeing people change, right? So 1 to 5, that's multiplication. Whether we think it's big or small, it's still multiplication. It's the idea that, hey, I wanted to focus on this one person and myself, and then I wanted to see if I can get a story out of this, and because I got a story out of this, I can get a story out of others. That's how we all got going, was a story out of others, and what I do know, Leslie, is that you're an influencer and you're you're a multiplier, you know? So I do see more multiplication coming, like no doubt about it. And some of the things we were talking about yesterday were, you know, the ability to have a consistent recruiting engine and making sure we have the right kind of lead structure as we're bringing agents on. When you hear that, and same thing with you, Rebecca, when y'all hear that and you hear about some of the things that we want to get into after, you know, speaking with, you know, Elder Care and some of the things that they're doing that are great, okay, you know, what does that do for you? What is your vision on that?
Oh my God, I'm so excited. You want to answer first? Like, ask Becky what she thinks.
Go ahead, Bex.
About 2024 and with the conversations we had yesterday, I am so excited. There were so many times that I was ready to walk, and you know, I did get my job back. I was offered to come back and work at my job, and you know, Leslie and I had a conversation, and it was like
Decline.
Yeah, they couldn't believe it.
What did they offer you? Let me reverse engineer these numbers right now. I was like, you could go back if you want to. And I just did the takeaway real quick.
It was a union job, and I had like pretty much high up there in seniority, and you know, I was ready to walk, and I said, you know what, I decided to do this. I'm going to see it through, and I'm so glad I did.
Interesting.
It's so good to be my own boss, and just hearing everything yesterday, I'm so excited for next year and really seeing what I can do, that I can do better, excites me even more, because I really think that I can grow even bigger than I did last year.
She's going to crush it.
Yeah.
I am so ready to implement what we talked about yesterday in our meeting. Like, it's like, I feel like there's a wave. I can't describe it really. There's a wave coming. I can see it like in the distance, but it's going to be a tsunami. And like, you don't see the tsunami yet, but I know because I've seen it.
I see it.
I've seen it. I'm just meaning other people, but like I've seen it in other companies happen. And I wanted so badly to be a part of that. And they told me I could be a part of that. But like they didn't have any follow through.
Right.
And like it's not like it's just gonna be a massive it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, man, I see it. You know, so you know, as it's funny, Rebecca, you say I wanted to walk so many times. I know this industry will kick your behind mentally. You know, no matter what side you're on. Obviously, with helping a certain number of families per year, one of the big benefits of Medicare is the renewals.
100%.
Right.
That's why people started Medicare.
Right. And so, Rebecca, this is your third AEP, so now you're going to see more money in January and February than you ever saw.
Right.
And you're going to have bigger, badder monthly checks coming in. I mean, like, there's some excitement to that. Like, I don't know how easy it is to walk on that, you know, even though it's easy to feel like, hey, maybe it's not going exactly the way I want, or I didn't have as many sales today or this week or this month or blah, 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 blah. I don't know how easy it is to walk on those kind of...
I won't be walking.
No, I got
We're not
it.
walking anymore.
I know we're done with the walk.
Now we're running in the other direction to collect more.
But we're talking to our audience, right? And they deal with the same thing you dealt with.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about, I don't think you're walking. That's not even the point. I know you're not walking. That's why I'm making the point the way I'm making it. Because it's hard to walk on that. Now, when you're not getting that, it's easier to walk. Yeah. It's easier to have thoughts of defeat. It's easier to have thoughts of, you know, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right space?
Right.
You know, but pushing through is the victory, right? You push through. And like we just laughed about, you're going to receive more money in 2024 than you ever received. And now, so what does that vision feel like? Knowing that 2024 is also going to be the biggest production year you've ever had, which means 2025 is going to be the biggest year. Like, where are we at?
Yeah.
Climbing up the Medicare mountain.
Yeah. Trying to navigate that time of going through that, I always kept my eye on the prize. And I always, you know, said, you know, persevere. Like, I don't want to ever give up on something that I put my mind to. and I really, just lived a little bit more frugally, was a little bit more careful of who I spent my time with. And it really made the difference for me. I was able to see a lot more, where my son was talking about money dials, and, looking at your bank account will show you what's important to you. And I was able to see what was important to me and weed out the things that weren't.
Nice.
And that made me give me the ability to survive and push through.
Yeah.
And it's worked. And now I have the freedom to do those things that I really wanted to do. And I'm going to be doing them in 2024. I'm going to do my best to just kill it in 2024, so I keep doing the things that I want to do.
That's amazing. I love to hear that, We talked about a consistent lead base, and really the importance of that for all the TMS, right? And just the importance of that for everyone that's on the team. And somehow that was elusive in years past.
Well, the Medicare business is different than life insurance.
Yep.
Life insurance, back when we started, we were used to having leads. Like, direct mail was king. We were talking about that. Now it's laughable. But back then, it was our heartbeat. It was our lifeline. It was our oxygen, right? So, like, now it's like, I go to Medicare, and they're like, oh, well, if you get 2 or 3 apps a week, you're doing really well. And I'm like, what? Like, I get 5 apps a day. I had 10 mortgage protections a day, and I would close 80% of who I saw. And so when you get over to Medicare, everybody is in Medicare age that works in Medicare, it seems. When you go to our Medicare meetings, there's a lot of older Medicare agents, and they have a book, and they're not used to working leads. It's a referral-based business. It's different. If you don't get in there and meet people and taproot in, if they don't know you, they don't buy from you. So, like, overcoming that. And it's also a lot of grassroots marketing. Like, actually going into buildings and saying, I market to your demographic. My age group is going to benefit your age group. Let me be the muscle. Let me bring in, what do you need? What does this facility need right now? And so grassroots is a part of it. Once you tap into that, you don't have a lead cost for that. But also, we have a big deal going on right now. And the deal is there's 10,000 people turning 65 every single day for 8, 9 more years. So if we don't do this right now, we're going to be we are the next biggest generation. So when Gen X is in Medicare, we can come out of retirement and do it all over again. I mean, why not? You know what I mean? So it's like, let's do it now, and then take advantage of this opportunity, because it's not like when people here take advantage of, they think it's like a negative word. We want to capitalize, but when you help people in this arena, it's different. Yeah. We get people Medicaid. We help people move their assets in a protected way. Retirement has a lot to do with healthcare. Yeah. I've written more annuities. I'm an annuity gangster. And I do more annuities in this space than in the mortgage space. You know?
Yeah. So, makes sense. I mean, retirement and healthcare definitely align, okay? Being able to, and people, they care equally about both at a certain age. Right. But the health screams at them.
Once they get sick, the death screams at them. And then when they get a new prescription or their first prescription that they remembered their mom got on this, and I watched this person deteriorate, then they're like, okay.
Yeah. It becomes super real. Hey, we don't live forever, and we don't live forever without deteriorating, right?
How comfortable can I deteriorate?
Right.
I feel so bad about it.
But no, this is the reality.
How less painful can I make this?
Right. And so health insurance, Medicare has become, it's a pretty simple concept. It's a pretty simple sale to make. I think the concepts that you need to understand, which I do want to get into, is where it takes experts like y'all to try to help families and to try to help agents. So there's plans, there's parts, there's Medicare sub, Med sub, there's Medicare Advantage, there's Medicare Advantage prescription and drug, there's prescription and drug plans, like there's
D-SNP.
yeah, you know, so it's like you
We
have
love a D-SNP.
so you have these egresses or these areas of entry, right? For any client.
Literally any client.
That's turning 65. So when you look at the whole scope, and nobody knows it better than you, when you look at the whole scope, what do you see? Like, how do you simplify this for agents? How do you simplify this for clients?
Oh, that's a good question. What do I see? It's almost like a long time ago, Danielle Byrne had a sign in her office, and it said, "A lead is asking to be led." And all you have to do is find it. Once you can find it, you have to show them what to do. And so that's why I transitioned into this side of the business, because once I mastered the life side, I think I mastered the life side, but I realized there was so much more need in the lead that I could give them.
Wow.
And I couldn't put my finger on it. And I was like, this is not acceptable for me. Not for multiple reasons. Number one is my client and what they need. And I'm sensitive to that because of my brother and my mom and the disabilities that live within my family.
Yeah.
Okay? But then on top of that, I don't want my mama and my brother going to somewhere else. Like, no. So, like, they would have had to find a different agent for that. And that is not acceptable for me. And it shouldn't be acceptable for anyone.
Right.
Because, and Becky said it best the other day, like, I know what I'm going to do for my client. How did you say it? They get me. You were like, they get me. You know?
Yes.
Why should I go with you over X company who's calling me captive that I got my bundle through, my car insurance? Like, why should I go through you? I've been with them for 25 years since we got married, right? So, like, why? And your answer was exactly why.
Right, because they get me when they...
Because you get me. And just like when I sold Final Expense and mortgage protection, I go, this is a Shawn Mikeism. You ready? I go, Mary, when you die, do you have any doubt in your mind that I'm not going to call that company and get that insurance check paid to you? And John's like, I got no doubt. Oh, I got no doubt. Mary's going to be good. Mary is going to be good. Because I'm talking to the beneficiary.
Isn't that important?
It's so important. And I'm talking to Mary like, I promise you if something happens to John, you don't have, do you think we're going to have a problem? They're like, nope. No, we're not going to have any problems. Same thing on the healthcare side. Leslie, this prescription is costing me X. I couldn't pick it up today from the pharmacy. What's going on? You know? And I know they have to have it.
Right.
So we set that expectation in the sale process.
Got it.
And they love it.
No doubt. And Rebecca, you've talked very passionate about servicing your clients.
Yes.
You know, on the Medicare side, there's a lot more pieces to it because it's a daily, day-to-day thing that they use these plans. Can you talk a little bit about the servicing and your passion behind that?
Obviously, the main thing is it requires a conversation and knowing your client, knowing what their needs are, and then being able to, the plans are all different, they're all changed, and being able to find what's going to be the appropriate plan for that client. But I want to be there for my client. If I put them in that plan, I want to be able to service them, and I service them from their prescriptions to their doctors to plan details to whatever it takes. That's getting a little harder now, but I still plan to do it, and I'm going to find a solution for doing that. But yeah, it requires definitely a conversation, finding out what they need, servicing them that way. I think prescriptions are a big part of it. Doctors are a big part of it. We want to make sure people have what they need. And then all the other little hidden gems that are hidden in the plan, we want to make sure we can get those for the client as well.
Can I say something to that?
Please.
I just want you to know, like, they don't know yet either. Because we're talking a lot about T65. Yeah. We're talking about the opportunity we have to do T65 big meetings, and educate at a massive level. And that way we can get in front of them way early.
Right.
So that they know what to expect early because they don't know yet. So what she's saying is these clients that once they hit that mark and they start getting smacked, like they know now because they're getting hit. But before that, they have no idea. Oh, I'm healthy. Do I have to get a prescription plan now? I'm healthy. I don't want one. Well, CMS says, yeah, you do. And if you don't get it on time, we're going to fine you and give you we're going to make it problematic that you didn't have it on time. So I'm like, well, let's go ahead and get you this now just in case because it's going to happen and you have to have it. They said you have to have it. So kind of letting them know, look, it's not about what you need. It's about when you're going to need it. And I need you to understand that it's not like death. We know it's coming. We know death is coming. We don't know when. So you have to have that there. Health is even more tangible.
Yeah.
It's a living and breathing thing.
Yep.
You're not going to be on a prescription. I haven't been to the doctor in 25 years. I hear this all the time. And I'm like, well, you're going to go. And at that time, he's going to give you all of the above.
Right.
You're going to get your heart checked. You're going to get put on a blood pressure. You got the sugars. You got it. We all have it, right? We've got the cholesterol pills. Yeah, and I don't know what that's going to look like for your pocketbook at that time. It's like I need to take care of it now and paint the picture now.
Yeah.
So educating people on a massive level in groups and then pre-appointment placing them, which is how you fill up AEP we need to talk about next year's AEP. We fill it up throughout the whole year.
Right.
Because that's what I was going to say earlier, is agents are like, oh, we have the Super Bowl, we have AEP. We have the ability to be the Super Bowl all year round.
Yeah.
Because of the way we position our business and the way we buy our leads and how we structure our year out. And you have to do that in December, January during the cool down period.
Yes. Cool down.
Because if you don't, everybody else is on vacation. The carriers are on vacation. You can't get contracted. The agents are on vacation for 35 days because January's dead, right?
That's the thing, making yourself available to your client.
Yeah. And so you have to take the cool down period to structure your year and make sure you have the appropriate leads being purchased at certain times of the year so that you can fill up your schedule with T65s.
Makes sense. Now, we talked about T65 seminars.
Yeah.
And everyone lit up like a Christmas tree.
Do you know why?
Tell me why.
Because
tell us.
It's a little bit of money and a lot of butts and seats.
Okay.
So, do you want to spend a whole lot of money on, we know the cost of leads. We can talk about it, right? Okay. So, a lead is a good lead, social media, whatever, a guaranteed lead is $50.
Right.
Right? I can spend $1,500 to $2,500. Let's say $1,500 to $2,500 for an hour-long seminar with guaranteed butts in the seat. They want to be wined and dined and loved on. You feed them, right? And they're like, "Listen, you're going to talk to me while I'm here, right?" And so I have 50 to 80 swings at the bat at that meeting. Wow. Here's what I know. They're all turning 65. That means I have 80 to 50. 50. They're all turning 65. If they're not turning 65, they're a guest. I'm an ACA. Boom. I can take care of the spouse and book her for when she's turning 65 because the age range is going to be 55 to 65. Let's be honest. They're close to age. Okay. So I have their health care. I can get in with the life insurance. I can get in with who's your doctor, what's your prescriptions now, who's a veteran, who's scared to death of Medicare, right? I don't know anything about it. And when can I tell you about it on an individual basis? So I should get 100% of my appointments booked because they're all turning 65.
Right.
There's no reason why I can't book every single one of those appointments. Where can you go in this business and pay $2,000 and get 50 guaranteed people that are definitely turning 65,
wow.
in the seat,
That is exciting, and that's
the ROI is
that's lead flow on top of lead flow. On top of now, Bex. Now we're talking.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Now we're talking. That makes sense, though. It's more of a pipeline game.
It is a pipeline game.
Because of the periods of the year in which it gets hot.
And the birthdays in the seminar are going to be from that month to the 12th month, depending on how. So every seminar can be structured based on demographic, age, and income.
So strategically, there is real strategy.
100%.
Right? Just to growing and building, and that's where we dove into yesterday. It's like, okay.
That's the mistake I made my first year.
Yeah, it's like we're not just gonna do this and spray and hope it works. And that,
Yeah, and you can't just drop mail anymore.
I mean, there's definitely a strategy and and systems that create real long-term success. And
throughout the slow periods, and people that are looking at this podcast, they're like, they're doing something different. We don't have that, right? Mm-hmm. It's because they don't have the leadership to structure that. And we call it the dead zone, but it's not. Like AEP is Super Bowl, OEP is important, but then quarter 2 and quarter 3 is where it's very difficult to write business in there unless you have people to talk to.
Systems.
So we need those people that are turning 65, those birthdays. And Integrity has 2 major platforms that we have access to that gets us in front of that demographic.
Yeah.
So that we can have 4 Super Bowls a year.
Love
250,
it.
250, 250, 250. How many apps is that?
1,000.
Number 1 agent's doing 1,000 apps a year. I want everybody doing 1,000 apps a year. Everybody.
Bex, what's the goal for 2024?
Wow. I would love to shoot for 1,000.
You scared?
After hearing that yesterday, I know it's doable. I was
Let's go.
how is it doable?
Right.
If it's doable, I want to know how.
Yeah, right.
Tell me.
You're
the
like, I got
secret.
the work ethic. I'll do it.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's setting a new standard. Right. It's not conforming to the industry norms.
The Medicare industry norms.
which is what I'm saying.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, okay, the opportunities are available. Mm-hmm. That means the opportunities are abound for people, clients and agents. That means there's more. If we have more of a process, more of a structure for 4 quarters, then that means we have more agents that are interested in coming aboard. We have more agents that can calculate income and can figure out how to make a career out of this. And that's, to me, the goal.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because it's always about people.
Yeah, and people are in need year-round, not just during AEP.
100%.
And that's where we swoop in and come to play and help people.
Yeah, and a lot of FFL agents are used to flying around to write business. I mean, we fly to different cities to write business, like wherever the pockets of leads
That's
are,
before
right?
telesales.
Right, before telesales. So, we already know that there's people that move to certain areas to run business in certain areas that are heavily populated or whatever. Mm-hmm. The beauty of Medicare is you're just looking for the people that are turning. And we have all of that data.
Right.
So, where do you...
Endlessly.
TMS in your city. We'll be in your city. Seminaring it up.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Is targeting. And so you guys are doing a fantastic job. It is awesome to have you in, to soak up all of the knowledge you guys bring to the table, to see the forecast for 2024 and the excitement around it and what you're going to take back to your city. And, Bex, you're right here in New Jersey. So
right.
This is your city.
Yes, right down the
And
street.
so we're going to turn up right here.
Yeah, that's
locally.
Fine. Let's go.
Sunny skies ahead.
Yeah, right. So TMS in the building, Leslie Scofield, Rebecca Scofield, thank you for all you do. Thank you for the year you've had, and I'm looking forward to a fantastic rock star 2024. And these ladies know what they're doing. They really understand this business. They understand what the client needs, what the carriers need from us, and how to marry the two. So if you're looking for a home, look no further place than these 2 winners. Appreciate y'all for listening. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Thank you
and
for having
God
us.
bless.
Us.
Take care.